Hello, my name is Casey Williams, Director of Parks and Recreation for the City of Spring Hill, Tennessee, and welcome to Brilliant Strokes. Brilliant Strokes is an intergenerational art program provided by the Arts Build Communities grant through the Tennessee Arts Commission. And if you would like to be a part of this program, you can register online through the city website, www.springhilltn.org, or through the Parks and Recreation's Facebook page. All of our instructors are local artists, and we're so grateful to them for donating their time and their talents to be part of this unique program. Now I'm going to step aside and introduce you to our program manager, Sonia Ryan, who's going to take you through the steps and the materials you'll be using today. Have fun!
Hi there, I'm Robin. I'm doing the mixed media session. This is class number 1, and today we're kind of going to just experiment and familiarize yourself with all the tools we have, and I'll give you some tips of things you can be looking for before you're the next class, and give you a little preview of some of the projects we're going to be working on. One of the projects is what I created during our COVID madness, and it's called Behind Closed Doors, and it's taking some photographs and enhancing them with modeling paste and then coming back and adding some more paint to them. So that's one project we'll do. Another one is, I called it Find Your Way, but you can get your own saying together, but it's just lots of yummy layers. Bubble wrap is used, the top to shampoo bottle, then just some spray bottle. You might want to find a spray bottle. If you can't find one, an empty one at your house, then we can just load up a paintbrush and that'll work just as well. And so we'll be creating that. Another thing we're going to create is it's called asemic writing, and asemic writing means without semantics or illegible. So some of you that may work perfect because that's the way you write anyway. And so we'll create 2 of those, but this one's going to use an image transfer technique, and it doesn't look like much when it's a little piece of paper like that, but when you throw it behind a nice big mat and put that in a frame, you're golden. So we'll do 2 of those. This one's more of a collage work, and then this one is image transfer. At the end of today's class, we're going to prep our surface for next week for this one. Another tip I've got for you, if you're working at home, a lot of times you don't have a great space that's safe to work on. Puppy pads. They're really cheap. Buy a big box of puppy pad. It doesn't soak through with the water. Spread that out on your surface, so that'll be a great place to work. And you can use them more than once. So for today, we're gonna just take one of the flat canvas panels that you have, and I'll go through some of these supplies and tell you what they do, and then we can start experimenting. So the gesso that you have, this is used as a primer, so it can coat your surface, whether it's a canvas panel or a sketch paper or any other kind of substrate, and this just creates a surface that's ready to accept any kind of media, be it watercolor or acrylics. It can also be used with the image transfer technique that we're going to work on. This is some texture paste. It's quite thick, and it takes a little bit to dry. Use that a lot with the palette knife, and we'll apply it. And then for the application we're using with the door technique, you can use the bamboo skewer to kind of make your mortar that's between the stone or the bricks. You can also use the bubble wrap and press down on it, pull it off, and that'll make some more different kinds of texture. So that's how we use that. The Mod Podge, that is an adhesive and a sealant. So we use that for collage to attach our papers to the surface, and then you use it over the top to seal in your paper so that it doesn't rip apart when you go to work on it. Another cool thing we've got some little blocks in here with some twine. You can just wrap your twine around and then use that, stamp it in your paints, and then stamp it on your surface to make designs. Also shelf paper the same way. You can use it either to put paint down, or you put paint down and you can pull it off. So either way, it works both to add and to take away. Another key thing you've got in your kit is this black permanent pen. It is waterproof, which is very important when you're working with wet media. And it's great to go in at the end and add some detail, or you can start by drawing with it and then coming in and adding the paint. Also, it'd be good to have a graphite pencil. It's great for scratching into the paint or for adding on top of, say, a gesso layer to just add some unique marks. Another good thing, kitchen fork. Again, it makes great patterns, and we'll be working with that today. One more thing you might want to have on hand is a straight edge. It's good for either making marks or tearing the paper. So let's get started. So we're going to start with our flat panel canvas and take out this paper that's in your kit, and let's just start by tearing out this picture of the girl. So if you're tearing towards you, it's going to leave a little white edge here, and if you're tearing away from you, the white edge is on the piece you're tearing away. So depending on what effect you want is the way you want to tear, or you can do both. So we'll just tear her out. And it doesn't need to be perfect. That's the great thing with collage. You pick whatever colors you want. It doesn't have to be perfect. There's no straight lines, and you don't have to draw it. So what I'm going to use for this, I'm going to use some of the Mod Podge. So when you use Mod Podge, you want to do both on the back of what you're adhering to and also on your surface. So you can just squirt a little bit out. Take one of your paint brushes, rub it on the back, and spread that out. We're not making anything in this project, so it doesn't matter where on your canvas you're putting anything. We're just going to experiment today. So then you put that down, and then you want to put just a little bit more on top. And then that's going to seal it so that it doesn't tear when you try to start working with it. So now, while she dries, we'll go on to something else. So take any color that you have in your acrylic paints, whatever your favorite color is. I'm going to use a dark color just so it'll show up better as being contrast on your canvas and then work through it. So here what you can do is you can just paint a little space here. Now you can take the end of your paintbrush, you can take your graphite pencil, take your skewer, and see that'll drag it out away from your painted blob there. And then the part of mixed media is lots of layers. So if you work in different sections, and there's a lot of time that you spend downtime drawing or between steps. So that's why we're just going to work on this one and do a lot of different techniques. And then as the class goes, we'll prepare this week for something that we're going to work on next week so we don't have a lot of downtime. So let's just do some of the modeling paste here. So I like to use the palette knife with this one. Just scoop a little bit out and put that down. Spread it out. You can use this very thin or very thick. It just takes longer to dry if you do thick. And you can also tint this, so we can put a little paint in there. And again, you can use any of the tools to drag through. If this were like, a brick wall, you can kind of do your pattern to make your brick wall. And then other things you can do is put it down. Take some bubble wrap and see what it does. So you just press it, the bubble side down, lift that up, and then it's kind of hard to see, but there's a little texture in there. Then let's see. Also, what you can do with your gesso is it's called veiling, and what that means is you're just going to kind of disguise the edge so that there's not this sharp edge here. You can blend it in. So take a little gesso. over that edge a little bit. And then take your paper towel and kind of rub some of it away so it kind of gives it a vintage look. So another thing to do, let's do some stamping with our shelf liner. To just paint, you don't want a lot of thick paint because then it'll go down in all the crevices, and just kind of brush it across the top. And down. Lift up. Sweet design there. Never guessed that was shelf paper. Same thing with our bubble wrap. Lift off, so that's the way we'll do it first. Just lift off. So press down. Pull away. There's some very faint dots in there. And then do the opposite. So let's see what we can do next. Some other things that you might have around your house. You can use with mixed media. Empty toilet paper roll. So the way I like to use that is to use it to make circles, and I don't want them to be perfect. I want them to kind of be like a coffee stain. So just spread your hand out. Just kind of dip it in there, and sometimes you might want to do it on a test piece first, and then just stamp around. Another great thing is with the water bottle. So you want to put some of your paint down. Let's switch over to that. Pull some of your paint here. I'm going to make a mess on this. It's down. Pull some of the paint across, and your spray bottle. And cause little drips to go. Gives a little messy grunge look. And of course, adding more colors and more layers continues on to the way that will affect your piece. So what we're gonna, one more thing, let's do the homemade stamp. So you can just take it and do it in the edge of your thing. And the good thing is you want to use them more than once. You don't want to blot and come back and blot and come back, because then you lose all variance. So if you just keep using the same thing until it runs out, then you'll add more depth and dimension to your work. Then you can take your string and you can just wrap it around. You're going to dip that in your paint. Mixed media is messy. So you make could be like a fence row going this way, or you can go both ways. Make a little very loose plaid pattern. And you can just take it and drag it through as well, so you could do that and like to remove some of the paint and drag it out. Alright, so let's get ready for next week. What you're going to need is one of the small panels. You're going to get one of the small panels. Before class, I think the ones in your work bag might be another color, because they were part from another project. But if they are, just take some of your gesso for next week and coat that panel. The next thing you're going to need is of your collage papers is the one with the butterflies. I believe there's 3 butterflies on a page. This sheet. And again, not perfect. You want to tear out a couple of the butterflies. I used the 2 lighter colored ones. And again, perfection is not a part of this yet. If you want to fussy cut them, that's what we call it when you take the scissors and go around every edge. You're welcome to do that too. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the image transfer technique. So what that means is you're going to take your photo. You can do this off of a regular copier. It doesn't have to be special paper, regular copy paper and a printer. And you print your image and you're going to use the Mod Podge. You put it face down, which is very important. Another very, very important step is you do not get Mod Podge on the back when you're applying it. So if your fingers get Mod Podge on them, wipe them off before you come back to touch that. So it's the same process as we used on the other transfer sheet. You'll paint the Mod Podge here and there. And it doesn't really matter where you put them. I'm going to put one towards the top and one at the bottom. This down. Now I've got Mod Podge fingers. So I'm just going to be safe and get a paper towel. And you kind of want to start from the center and go to the outer edge so any excess will come out. And I'm going to put this lighter one, and I'm going to let him come off the page at the bottom. You can just wrap whatever hangs off over the edge, and then when it dries, we'll just cut that off if it's peeled. And you're going to leave that till next week.
So, if you like what you've seen and you want to take part in Brilliant Strokes, don't forget, go online to our Facebook page, that's Spring Hill TN Parks and Recreation, or to the Spring Hill City website and register. Registration opens February 18th. And the first 8 people to register for each class will get a free goodie bag. Can't wait to get creative and have fun.